Oh yeah, I love it. I love it when Miss Davis does the countdown. She said 3, 2. Forgot what comes next. No, she didn't. She said 3, 2, 1. Yes, it is Wednesday night. It is time. It is time. Let me see what this says. I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me and say, because of you, I didn't give up. I know that's right. That's right, Miss Davis. Because of you, I
You
didn't
got it.
give up. Because of you, I didn't give up. That's true. That is true. Because of you, I didn't give up. New Black World Order. Because of you, I didn't give up. Mm, I thank God. Because of you, God, I didn't give up. Yes, indeed. What a beautiful day. How you doing, Queen Howard? Because of you, I didn't give up. That's right, Queen. That's why you're the Queen. JB is there. Make you feel special. Mm-hmm. We're talking about $90 million, Mr. Jenkins. $90 million missing out of your bank account. $90 million. Come on, Miss Davis. Can you keep up with your money or what? How you lose money? How did you lose $90 million? How did you lose $90 million, Miss Davis?
It wasn't lost.
$90 million is missing from the AME Church fund.
Yeah, it's not lost though.
Uh,
It's in somebody's pocket. That's where it is.
It was lost. Now it's found. It's like, no. They're like, no. And then the pastor was like, this is not a Negro spiritual. You gonna find my money. You gonna find this money. Oh my goodness. $90 million? Look, there's actually something called the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation. You can actually get your pension guaranteed. So for those of you who ever think about getting a pension or participating in a pension, make sure you mute Miss Davis. Don't try to upstage me. She's always trying to upstage me. You always try to upstage me. You always try. You always try. The, look, exact. Greetings to you, Mr. Jones. I thank you for not coming in with your microphone on. I know. What if you came in and were like, yo, 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 yo? Exactly. That's Miss Davis. That's the way she comes in. Mic wide open. Exactly. Give me the $90 million. So she want to save the church. That's right. But I found this in researching, no, it is like when you think about it, there was a pastor who was just about, I mean, think about it, you know, you're just about to retire, you know, here it is, like Mr. Jones retired from, Metro, and all of a sudden, right as you're about to retire, and they tell you, you know what, we'll get back to you on that check because we can't find your money. We can't find your money right now, Ms. Neville. We'll get we'll get back to you. Let me show you. Let me show you. And like I don't know if any of you have heard about this because like this came out this summer, and then I was I was talking to Ms. Whitaker yesterday, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, and she was like, "Yeah, like you didn't hear about it?" And I was like, "No." And she said, and then I was like, "Oh no, we need to talk about this because I really I want us to like realize how much control that we have. Like I want us to make sure that we know that we're smarter than we think we are, like that we have more control than we think we have, and that because there's no power in feeling like that we're a victim and that we can kind of and we can um what we can do on different on in different situations, like what we need to do given different situations. So I want to share the screen with us as soon as I find like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. I'm gonna get really good at this right around the time that y'all get frustrated.
A I-Team investigation. Imagine spending your life serving your church, paying into its pension fund, only to retire and learn you cannot get to that money. That's what a lawsuit alleges happened to a local minister who recently retired from the African Methodist Episcopal Church in Jacksonville.
His attorneys are filing it on his behalf and that of other pastors nationwide. News4JAX I-Team investigator Ann Maxwell is following this story. Ann?
Joy, Reverend Pierce Ewing retired from Mount Zion AME Church here downtown back in September. Now he's driving a truck on the night shift to get by after his pension was frozen. The attorney representing him in this class action lawsuit says he thinks as much as $100 million may be missing from that pension fund, and thousands of ministers are affected.
Millions missing, a law enforcement investigation, and reports of clergymen losing their pensions. It's all tied to the historic African Methodist Episcopal Church. The AME Church has been around since the 1700s, expanding across the country and the world, with membership in 39 countries on 5 continents, according to its website. It's now a defendant in a class action lawsuit filed by Jacksonville attorney Fred Tromberg.
We filed a class act to get that money and find out A, where the money has gone, B, how much is missing, C, where did it go, and D, who took the money.
Reverend Pierce Ewing recently retired as a minister of Jacksonville's Mount Zion AME Church. In his lawsuit, he says he hasn't received his pension since he retired in September.
I'm not going against the church. I would like to see the leadership held accountable.
Ewing says he received statements twice a year showing what he believed was in his pension fund.
We thought it was okay.
The lawsuit names other defendants, including 2 financial services companies and the now former executive director of the church's Department of Retirement Services. Tromberg says his preliminary investigation shows the church has admitted financial irregularities.
They admitted to somewhere between $45 million and $90 million that was missing. We think it's north of $100 million, and that's not including the return on investment that should be there.
Tromberg says he's looking to track down the money. Ewing says he just wants to be made whole and have whoever is behind this held accountable.
And we reached out to the AME Church leadership. Church officials said they're limited what they can say because of the ongoing lawsuit. They say they are aware of it, but they said that last year a new retirement plan administrator uncovered possible financial irregularities. They've launched an independent investigation and are working with law enforcement. As for Tromberg, he says any other ministers affected are encouraged to join this class action lawsuit. Live downtown, Ann Maxwell, Channel 4, the local station.
So, Ann, do we know when the National Church Organization knew there were issues with the pension fund?
Well, we know they put out a statement publicly on Facebook back in October saying they were auditing the Department of Retirement Services and would put out the results publicly when they got them. We haven't seen those yet, but we also know as early as September is when Reverend Ewing says that he got a letter saying they were auditing the Department of Retirement Services, and that because of a change in leadership and because of that, his pension wouldn't be able to be dispersed to him.
All right. Ann Maxwell reporting live for us tonight.
Unimaginable. That is crazy, right? Can you imagine? Like you're just about to go out the door. It's done. You're not getting paid. And you gotta wait. It's like, and then another lawsuit came about in Maryland. Right. So that lawsuit, and then the Maryland lawsuit came in with AARP in on the lawsuit. And so there, you know, interesting enough on that, I thought was the minister saying, I don't want to sue the church. I don't want to sue the church. Like, so I don't know if he understands that there's no way that he's going to get the money back from an individual. There's no way. Like, so all of the lawsuits have the church at the top of it because ultimately, like, you can't sue someone that works for the entity. The entity is responsible. If you go to a bank and or any financial institution and someone that works there does something to you, the person, the bank is responsible for what the person does. It's called failure to supervise. Like, they are responsible. They are responsible. No, the ARP has lawyers that are helping. They are helping the pastors. Yeah, I guess that would be the defendant, right? They're helping the pastors sue the church. And then they list these individuals too. But the individuals work for the church, but you can't do it without including the church because the people wouldn't be there without the church approving them to be there. So you wouldn't be exposed to this. Like I had a client who was robbed at work, and she worked for a major corporation, and there was an employee who was going around taking everybody's identity and taking out loans. So they did not, because of the union, could not fire that employee because they were union protected. Because they said the employer should not have exposed that employee to everybody's purse and personal information. So they had to give everybody secured places to keep their purses and personal information. And that person kept that job. And it wasn't even, I don't even think it was disclosed to them, like who exactly the person was that was doing it. Like, and like, but they, I think they were, but they were like fired or something. Like they weren't fired. But they had to change the policy and they had to give them locks and they had to keep their purses in a particular place, But it is the employer, like a pension is money from the employer, or the majority of the money comes from the employer. So the money is put in for you. And some pension plans now do take some of your money, like especially some municipalities, they might say you have to put in 1% or you have to put in 2%. But the majority of the money is coming from the employer. You don't have to put anything in, they're putting in money for your future. So they're taking the money and then they're putting money into investments for you. but they have a responsibility to manage that money for you. Right? They shouldn't be, like they're giving you statements and they're telling you, they told that man, right? Didn't they tell him at such and such an age, you're going to have such and such amount of money? Yeah. Like who has custody of the pension? And it will actually, there is a custodian for the pension assets. And in this particular situation, they had they actually had record that said that theirs, according to one of the attorneys that was interviewed with Roland Martin on an interview that I saw, that they have reports that they were in an annuity. So, I mean, how simple is that? They should have just been getting statements from the annuity company, but they weren't.
JB, question here. I'm looking for a name such as Mass Mutual or Fidelity.
They did, but they never got a statement from it. They said, we're getting the statement from the annuity. Trust us. But we're putting it in there.
And the us is whom? The pension?
The church, yeah. The church fund. The church pension fund said, we're putting in this annuity name. And then, so they really thought that they were in it, but there was no legitimate audit being done. Though they had an auditor, it was not what should have been a certified public accountant. That's where an actual certified public accountant is for. Like a lot of people use CPAs for their personal tax returns, but that's not what they're for. They're actually for auditing, for things like this. They're supposed to be for doing things that are separate and for audits, so that they can legitimately be separate from that entity. They should not work for that company. They should not work for that church. They should not be on that staff. They should have an audit that verifies that that money is with that annuity, like you said. Their accountant lied.
It's kind of hard to know that kind of money. There isn't some sort of trail to tell the participant of that pension fund, from AfroEconomics, JB Bryan Financial Services to TMP First Clearing. You know what I mean? So there's no invisibility with us. They can get away with that.
If they had that help with me, they could see everything in the account. They would be able to see that if they took it to the board, they could see it. The accountant could see it. This stock, that stock, this annuity, that annuity, blah, blah, blah. This and that. They didn't have any legitimate business going on. Nothing was with registered firms. Doesn't look like they had any licensed people in there involved in their transactions.
How many years had something like that been set up in some kind of working fashion without someone knowing something? That's just entirely too many people.
20 years. He was there 20 years.
Yeah, and I don't care if your discipline is in church Christianity, theology. Somewhere else along the way, you read something else. You interpret other things other than just that. So these are your finances collectively. Seems like Reverend such and such would have called up Reverend such and such. Well, man, where is yours? Have you seen? No, I hadn't seen mine. Well, look, let's dig into this. None of that, obviously.
It was like very made up statements.
Mhm.
Made up from the get up. They're just made up. Like, and the accountant was making stuff up, and they fell for it, and that and they know better. They know better. They know better because you have guidelines. You have pension fund guidelines. You have church guidelines. You have church organizations, that tell you specifically how your church pension funds should be regulated and how they should be done. This was a blatant neglect of it, and money was taken out and sent to Florida and invested in raw land, which is the most aggressive investment that you can do. And the land was never developed, and that it was that turned into a huge loss of millions of dollars. And the fact that that amount of money could be pulled out without multiple people having to sign off on is sad. That it could just, come out of an account that affects 5,000 people, and only one person has to say, okay, here it is. 5,000, 5,000 futures, but one person can approve it.
I'm going to say this and then I'm going to shut up. The one thing I can say when, like, we're having our one-on-ones with you and all, when you change something, when you touch something, please know a letter will come flying through the door, through the mailbox. It'll say, this got sold, that got sold, this was bought, that was bought. Even if you don't understand it, the paperwork will come to you. Now, that I can attest to.
I know the thing that I like notice the most is that when we do changes with retirement accounts, a lot of times they don't do the things that I ask clients to do. Almost like every time I ask a client to do something and then they go, okay, I'll do it myself. When I see their statement 6 months later, it was not done the way I said. And they go, oh, I thought so. I tried to, and I don't think we take, seriously, like the reason that we're doing these changes, that like we're really like there's a strategy behind this stuff. Like the so the that it really, makes a difference. And but like there's like some things that we do, like that sometimes you might have, like I know even for you, Ms. Davis, like you'll know that sometimes we'll do things and one day it'll be like, why we even do that? And it might like be a month or two before you realize, like, yeah, I think that that's right. Because I'm looking at the bigger picture. Isn't it true? And you'll like, I get it. I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Because and that's why it really does pay for um churches and people to have a licensed professional involved. And I'm sure I love the Lord just as much as the minister who lost all this money for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm a work under the understanding that he had good intention. I don't feel like, you know what I mean, that maybe like he really wanted to do this, but I just think that he was misguided and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And he did not get the help. He didn't even probably know the difference between listening to these people that came into his office and sold him on these crazy ideas that were totally outside the risk level of a pension plan, and the difference in talking with me, who's someone who understands that group that he's dealing with. He was just making investments because what he was doing was so random. So random. Like, and maybe if he had enough time, like Bernie Madoff, maybe it could have worked if they had another 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Bernie didn't have a Ponzi scheme. He just needed time and he ran out. But it did not work. You know, like sometimes, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think about how many times maybe he did something like that and it worked out for him. And he said, wow, I doubled this pension. And everybody was like, yay, yay, you know, we got the biggest pension in the world. They're not talking about that. They're not talking about that. They all on him now. Y'all feel me on that? They on his case now because it didn't work. But I would have been addressing what type of risk are you taking when he was talking about it the first time. But no, because they didn't understand the risk involved in what he did before. Everybody said, leave him alone. You know what he doing. You see what I'm saying? And all it was beginner's full luck. That was it. And they backed off. But you know what I'm saying? That's what happens. Oh, Allah, you know what? Oh, you know what he's doing. But they're not talking about it. Because there ain't no way. But they want to blame it all on him, make him look like he crazy. I don't know him. I don't know him. But I don't think it. I just don't see it. I don't see this guy like that. Like I know him. But I just don't see it. I don't see him like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he left town and he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. This is a guy that was locked into this organization. Time just ran out. And it would take a lot, but he should just come up and just say, look, this is the way it works sometimes. And y'all told me do, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, just like Bernie did. And the truth of it is, everybody who's Bernie's money he lost, all of them signed a form. And they said, yeah, Bernie, do whatsoever you want with my money. And as far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't have had, and we shouldn't have had, as taxpayers, had to pay them nothing back. But these people in the pension fund, nah, the church should pay them back because they're not supposed to be exposed to that type of risk. But with Bernie, they signed forms. They said, Bernie, you can do whatever you want. Pension investors, it's a whole different type of situation. You have agreed to take this money and provide for their future with this money. You have a different level of security, and you are supposed to invest with their best interests with every move.
JB,
Yes,
is and when dealing with pensions, is there a fiduciary responsibility as well?
to the highest degree.
Okay.
To the highest degree. It should be surrounded with registered investment advisors. I don't see anybody in on this. I don't see any registered investment advisors involved in this. They keep using the term financial advisors, but I don't see registered investment advisors on this. They said the accountant, you know, but they didn't have like a CPA has a fiduciary responsibility, but they didn't have a CPA. So
Now the sad part is, like in the case of Metro, let's say that happened at Metro or something like that. Most people, depending on that pension, would have no say in where that money went or what it did or anything like that. So that they wouldn't even be able to sign a piece of paper and say, do what you will or do what you will. Because that's not even their decision. They don't even have a choice in the matter.
but y'all have pension benefit guarantee on that. And Metro is gonna have that guarantee wrapped around their pension fund. So if they hire a lunatic, they have protected you with the guarantee around it. And they were doing that if they had actually did what he said he did, because the annuity is a guarantee because it's an insurance product. So all he had to do was take their money and send it to the insurance product that he said he did. And that would have been it. They might not have had 100 million as they thought they did, but they'd have, you know what I mean, more than what they have. Like they would have some real numbers. They would have real numbers. And he told them that he was, putting it in very secure, safe, slow moving, products and giving them on this information in their statements. Not but it's just their lack of interest in the check and balance system. And like the committee that was designed to regulate him, according to the lawyers, was not involved in his decisions and didn't have to oversee his checks and what he was investing in. So, he was just improperly supervised. And he was a victim. You're like, yeah, right, JB. But it was a victim of sorts. But it could have been like he could have been overwhelmed. Was really they had no supervision. I mean, it's like them putting somebody on the road and then not teaching them, how to properly secure a vehicle and stuff like that. That's what happened. But he kept getting reelected. So he was, probably got into like, I have to show them I'm performing. Just started like having to be impressive, like Bernie had to do, like had to keep showing his numbers, had to keep proving his numbers. But when regulators were coming in, like regulators were going into Bernie's office and looking at his numbers and still accepting them as legit. And I think that's what embarrassed the government, because they were like, we did audit him and we accepted the numbers. This pension fund doesn't get audited. Like I get audited and they look at my checkbook and everything. Like there was nobody like doing that with him. So if they're not looking through that, then they're not seeing that he's writing checks to this land in Florida. If they saw that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing that, or they'd be like, why'd you write $20,000 to Miss Davis? What's going on here?
So then, where did the bulk of the money go? If the money was going to some swamp water down in Florida, where did it really end up?
It went there. Oh, it they never actually developed the land. It went to that, and it went to that. It did go to that, but it just never worked.
So then is the land sitting, of course the land is where it is, but there's nothing on the land. Nobody's buying it, it's just sitting out there.
Exactly. It didn't work. The project didn't work. Like
Mhm.
you said, it might have found out it was a swamp or something. It couldn't be developed or something. A hurricane, something horrible happened. Something. He probably invested in the one that had where it fell. But Mr. Jones said it was other people. If they find out that my whole logic of protecting him is gone, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he really, but they have like other, people involved. Like if you think about like those other people that took that money, and then if that money somehow comes back to benefit him, it's all over, brother. It's all over.
See, it's no telling how many hands that money has changed. And
Yeah,
yeah, and it's got a new face, a new head, a new arm, a new this and a new that. It's gone through some tunnels. And
like
he
if that
probably
land,
knows.
yeah, like if that land turned to nothing, but he bought land up the street in a retirement community. That's where he lives. That would be something else. They will find out though.
Hmm.
When it comes to money, money always leaves a trail. Money leaves a trail. Yeah, it is designed. Money can be tracked. So that's just the way it's set up now. They're like looking at everything over like $500 now or $100. Like, I don't know why anybody thinks that they can like get through something now and all of the electronic and digital transactions that we have now. It is all trackable. We should just do right. But I just, think that we have to, like, if any of you, the best way, if you have a pension plan, the best way to approach this is to always keep your statements for each quarter. And then when you get to the end of the year, keep that annual statement for every year. And as I was telling a member about that, we noticed interest rate changes. And I don't even know why I was like just saying, oh, we need to like keep up with, your pension. And then we noticed like that as interest rates change, it really starts impacting before you retire the difference between if you take a monthly check or if you take a lump sum. Because the lump sum and the checks are becoming very popular now because companies don't want the responsibility of that pension. And you're going to see less and less churches doing pensions now because of this, especially because it's a lot of responsibility to keep up with this, with the pension, and then with the smear of this, they're going to really not want to be connected with it. But simply put, it didn't have to come to this. It just did not have to come to this. Easily, every member, every employee could have and should have had their individual account and just slot whatever money you wanted for each of those individuals into their account, period, and put it into the guaranteed account. And as simple as the annuity, as he had said he had, they each could have had. And it could have been, or a mutual fund. It could have been. This was just poor supervision and poor commitment to the financial future and to the legacy of a faith community that is so important to us. It represents so much to so many people. And we got to do everything that we can to make sure that you pull through this, and that everybody that's looking at this knows that we care about everybody that's impacted through this, and that we're praying about them, that we want them to know that their future is very important to us, and that these people have worked so hard, and for this to happen to them, oh man, I know it hurts. I know it hurts. But you gotta believe that everything that has been taken from you will be returned to you tenfold. Somehow, some way, we have to keep the faith on that. And if there's anything that I can do to help increase your confidence on that, or help you look at other opportunities, or just help you figure out what portion of this is yours, or what, just reach out to AfroEconomics or JB Bryan, and let's just start working on that. But don't go on television and say this is not a church issue, because yes, it is. The church is responsible for this. The church is responsible for you. Unfortunately, it has to take responsibility for this. This is where we step up for each other. You shouldn't even have to say that. Like, it should just come forward on this. We are, and I know as the ministers, you represent the church, but the church is a separate entity from you in this capacity. It has its own tax ID for that nonprofit. And that nonprofit has to collectively get your money back for you and put that back in your pension fund, no matter how long it takes. Build that back up and get it back to you over time. It can be done. It can be done. And they just adjust the check amount for now. But I think everybody should be getting something really soon. Like, you just lower the amount and then you start increasing the amount. Every year, a new audit should be done and adjust the amount for everybody. I don't know. I'd be happy to get on the committee and we start figuring out how we're going to get through this. How do we do it fairly? But the funds have to get back out. We collect money every Sunday. Everybody should get paid every Sunday. Keep it flowing. Give with a heart of abundance. That is my new theme. Because we keep feeling like stuff is gonna stop, and it's not. So do it from the top. If the church is generous, then everybody else can be generous. But the church has to first know that God's going to continue to give back to you. So you got to start. You should have never stopped sending it out. It shouldn't have stopped unless somehow somebody made you. I guess the courts made you. So send it from somewhere else. But everybody on pension, the church should start sending them money again out of the offering fund. Because any minister that earned that retirement should be getting their check. That's the truth. That is the truth. That hurts. I can't imagine working 30 years, 20, whatever your requirement is. And do you know how heartbreaking that must be? And then all of a sudden, you don't get a check anymore. You got to go drive for Amazon. Send them their check from every time somebody sends in money. Send the money out. Somebody sent me a video today. Creflo Dollar asked for a $65 million airplane. If Creflo can get a $65 million airplane, we certainly can raise money for these ministers.
That was his second one. Not the first one, the second one.
And I mean, everybody deserves an airplane. So I ain't mad at them. I'm just saying, because you know what? All of us, I'm going to get all of us an airplane when I can. I'm going to get you an airplane and you an airplane, Mr. Jones. I'm going to get us all an airplane. I'm going to get you a second one. You'll be like, that's my second one, JB. But
Please tell me. Please tell me I'm going to have a pilot. I'm going to have a pilot, right?
Amen. After I get everybody their pension back, I'm going to get the pension. If you don't mind, I'm going to get their pension back before I get y'all airplanes.
Okay.
Can I do that?
With the pilot. With the pilot.
With a pilot.
Okay.
I'm going to get you a female pilot. She's going to be cute. She's going to be cute and exactly. She's going to be cute. After I take care of priorities, because I got to get this pension thing. But I'm telling you, think about that. If we could have 2 airplanes, and then we're acting like 90 million for pension is like huge. That is ridiculous. Actually, he should have already raised this for his brothers over here. What is up? This has been almost a year, and we haven't sent any money to the AME Church. And there's only like 1 video on this, 2 videos. The only other video on this is like Roland Martin. I think it's to him. Like, so that's all of us, you know, so we care so much, but we can't help. I don't see any church, any church talking about, okay, don't give me the money. Let's just send it. We're going to send it over here. And they get money every week. Every time they go live, they got their cash app under there. Even Roland makes money. He ain't send them none. Roland, like, this is a show topic. I ain't helping y'all. I don't know what y'all talking about. No. He said, send this to Square and buy my book. If I charge y'all, I would send it to you. I don't charge. I don't even monetize this topic. So just know, I'm not making any money or protecting your pension. I really just want you to protect your pension. But I feel that our churches should be raising money for this church and getting that money back in there for the retired ministers. That's important. I mean, that's sad. That's sad. Like those who have so much, those who don't have any, and some are just so forgiving. It says, here's this, just to read it and summarize before y'all go. The pastors seeking class action status described nest eggs that suddenly lost 2/3 of their value. This January, the roughly 5,000 employees vested in the pension plan learned that about 88.5 million had vanished seemingly overnight. Church leaders heavily blame Reverend Jerome Harris, former executive director of the church's Department of Retirement Services. They contend that left unsupervised by any church authority, he engaged in a conspiracy with others to enrich themselves and their co-conspirators. After taking office 2 decades ago, Reverend Harris ran unopposed 4 times to keep that position. Key leaders, including the various bishops who chaired the Retirement Services Commission during his tenure, gave Harris sole decision-making authority over the fund. The pastors' lawsuits did contend. The last to serve in the role was Bishop Samuel Green Sr., whose district spans from South Carolina and is roughly 450 active pastors. Ann Byfield, president of the church's Council of Bishops, pledged that AME leaders would hold those responsible accountable and seek to recover embezzled funds. She quotes, "This financial crime has been committed against the AME Church community, and specifically our clergy and church employees," Byfield said in a written statement.
I wonder how accurate is that 90 million? Is that number, does that number need to be inflated to be, to become real and pure?
I know, like, because it's got to change every day. Everything else changes every day.
Mm.
Like,
And
what was it based on?
And do we need to check to see, what Reverend Harris is having for dinner?
I know, and it could be down to 0. And where is he?
Where are a lot of them? See, that's another question. Yeah, not locatable.
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't it be something if it was like down to 0? I know, but would it? Just start all over. Just start adding to it. That's the bad part. What are you doing right now? Right now, because people are still working. Are you adding right to it? Like right now, another one needs to be opened that is doing the right thing, set up the right way, and put the money, for the people that are working right now. Because time is going by. This is a whole year that people have worked that are getting nothing for their future, theoretically. If this is frozen, if it's frozen, it should just be, you should be putting, put it in there. So that if I go, yeah, he said that no one has mentioned the congregation. Yeah. Oh, Johnny's like that. Where did they get that? This money, the money comes from that. How you doing, Mr. Fleming? Look at that. That's Franklin Fleming. How you doing, Mr. Lewis? I know we got carried away. How you doing? Oh, I was look, Mr. Newell had a birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Newell. Miss Daniels. Someone needs to contact the Justice Department. Miss Daniels. I hope they contacted them. Queen Howard said, "This is crazy and sad." I know. That's crazy and sad. That's a bad looking person. Crazy and sad. What's that look like? Don't do it, Mr. Jones. Crazy. If you gonna be crazy, you better be happy. Don't be crazy and sad. I was just telling you, I'm gonna give you specific instructions, right, Queen Howard? Look, there was some lady the other day when I went to at the spa, and the lady said, the lady said, so they were talking to the old lady at the front. She said, "Oh, JB, you look good." I said, "Oh, thank you." And then the other lady said, "Oh," she didn't know me. She said, "Oh, you do look good." I said, "Oh, thank you." She said, "I don't worry about it. I got wrinkles and I'm not even worried about it." I said, "Well, the best thing to do for wrinkles is smile. Just smile, bitch." No, I didn't. But that would have been funny if I did. I smiled. I said smile though. I did say smile. I said just smile. Smile. And she started smiling. This little old lady, and she smiled. You do look better when we smile. So if you're gonna be crazy or if you have wrinkles, we just need to smile. I told you, because as you smile, if you're gonna have lines, we're gonna have smile lines. Smile, smile, smile. Don't give up. Don't let them know. They take your money, smile with it. Don't ever stop smiling. Don't ever let them see you sweat. Unless, of course, you need to frown. If you got your 357 in your hand, I don't think you have to smile. When you're at the firing range, like Mr. Jones, you don't have to smile. I can't see him when he's at the firing range. I only see his back. Mr. Johnson only shows his back. He's probably smiling though. What do you think, Ms. Davis? Do you smile when you have your gun?
No, not
You don't
really.
smile. Exactly.
Uh-uh.
Exactly. I don't smile. I don't smile like, and if I can smile with my revolver, but when I use that one 9mm, and that 9mm went down my bra, it was all over. My smile was gone. It was done. It went down my bra. It was over. I never used one of those again in my life. That is the worst gun in all the world. I could see me trying to hurt somebody and that thing do like that, and I'm like throwing the gun. They're like, "I don't know what's wrong with that lady, but she's throwing that gun." Has that ever happened to y'all? Where the shells come off and like get on you?
Oh, they're
Like,
gonna pop everywhere. Yeah.
oh my goodness. But I don't know. Like they should have that as a policy. Like I should have been like this. I should have been like this. Like you should be covered. Why was I like this? Like why do I have my chest out? But that should be policy. Full coverage. Smiling with a firearm.
When you go and you fire that weapon enough, you fire it enough times, you'll become accustomed to that. So you won't even you'll know to just kind of box that out. First off, the residue and stuff is toxic, so you got to be careful of that. That's why you need to make sure you wash your hands and when you're done shooting and whatever. And you need to really take those clothes off and wash
Cover
them.
you.
You know.
You will cover yourself anyway. I really never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But you need to go enough.
That's such a good tip. I had never thought about that. I just go on with the day. That's such a good tip. She is such a woman of weapon knowledge. I learned something today. Y'all learn about money, smiling, weaponry. Zip your clothes up when you go to the firing range. You AfroEconomics, you can learn about everything. Exactly. Uh-oh. Look, Paula said because I'm trying to be sexy. Girl, I ain't at no firing range trying to be sexy. Look, tell us somebody, it's easy. I ain't gotta try. I'm mad that somebody ain't tell her. Trying. I was born sexy. I came out my mama sexy. The doctor said, now that's sexy. Right, Miss? Right? Everything. That's right. Everything. That's right. I don't know what he was talking about, but it was right on time. Exactly. What is it, Paula? Look at her. You just make sure you graduate, Paula. You just do your classes before I tell them to take your degree back. What is that about? They gave her master's before she finished all her classes. I should go take it. That's a new system now. You know that? They let them walk before they finish all their classes. Now they're like, now I'm gonna start checking. Did you really finish all your classes? I'll be like, I'm not. You finish all them classes for look, you make sure. Did you finish? Did you finish them all? I feel like I smell a weapon now. I smell like I smell shells since she said that. I'm gonna oh, everything, because I was saying we learned about weaponry. Look, Miss Harris, like, I was not even talking about you. Yeah, I know. How you doing, Miss Bussy? Miss Bussy is coming to Atlanta. She's from Atlanta, but she lives here now. She loves Virginia. Miss Davis is there, but she loves it. Oh, look, here's Paula. I received a notification yesterday. My research and multimedia presentation. Uh-oh, you little genius. Good job. Code red. Go, girl. That's so good. We're so proud of you. God is good. Well, let me, in summarizing, when at work, as Mr. Jones brought up, with your pension plan, make sure you check on the pension guarantee that they have on your pension plan, the pension guarantee provider. I'm sure if you work for the state, a municipality, a fire department, they're going to have a guarantee that's protecting your pension plan. So definitely make sure that you check on that, like, and just so it makes you feel good. Um, that doesn't mean that it can't go under. It just means that you won't get to zero. So they protect it to a certain percentage. Like, it might say you'll always get at least 80% or something like that. Like, but it will but it really helps. It really helps. So and there but you're going to have it, like, because there was one key thing that I wanted to make sure that you realize, like, they could have had that protection on there, but even to just avoid that, having to buy something like that, they could have just used products that have the guarantee on them, like taking advantage of annuity products like they told the participants that they were using. And some key things for you to know, like your vocabulary for tonight, would be defined benefit plans versus defined contribution plan. So the defined benefit plan is a pension plan. You know exactly what your benefit is going to be. That's what think of it that way. Benefit, the pension. Contribution is the 401k or the 457 or the 401a or so those plans that you have to contribute to, those are the defined contribution plans. So the defined benefit plans are the ones that you would need to worry about making sure that they're guaranteed, and how are they funded properly, and do they have the protection, and are they being audited, and then they release to you. Like, a lot of pension plans are overfunded, and they'll say, like, it'll have it in the report. Our pension is overfunded by $10 million and blah, blah, blah. So just look out for things like that. It's out there for you. But if they're not audited correctly and they don't have any guarantees on them, they could be lying to you. And that's what happened. But if I had an AfroEconomics member and they came to me with the tacky statements that they must have had, I would have said something. Y'all know I would. You know I would. They would have got mad at them for coming into the meeting with that stuff. I would have said, but they would have been questioning them. And that's very important. That at least they would have felt at peace that we had been questioning them. It feels better knowing that you were on top of it than to feel victimized. There's no power in being a victim. We're going to stay on this thing. We're going to stay on it. Anything you have, anything you're doing that you feel uncomfortable with, like I was talking to a member earlier today, and there was somebody trying to get him to roll his money out of his retirement account into a self-directed fund, a self-directed IRA, so that they could buy some, precious metals and things. And I was like, going over the risk of illiquidity. Remember, we talked about different types of risk. And I was like, you get into these things, you got to remember what do I have to do to get out? What are going to be the fees to get out? What is it traded? What is it on? What trading platform is it traded on? And what are going to be the annual expenses of just using that custodian? Some of those are thousands of dollars a year. So but a lot of things they present it like it's the greatest opportunity in the world. Because it's a new idea doesn't make it good. Just because it's new. And they always get us with that. Oh, this is new and different. New and different doesn't mean it's good. Why do we feel like we so left out? Because it's something we never heard of before. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I never heard of, that I tried, that I could have, should have left this shit right where it was. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me. New and different does not a good investment make. We got to have better criteria than that. We need some historical performance. We need some guarantees. We need some references. We need some licenses. Look, just because you wearing a hat don't mean you a graduate. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta look deeper into everything. Seriously, we gotta stop being taken. We gotta stop. Just because it's at church don't make it holy. Lord. Whew. Isn't it true though? Mm. All right now. Y'all be good to yourself. And I'm just one call away. A call away. Thank you so much for your time. Protect yourself.
Good night, JB. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Where's our music?
Can you hear it?
I don't hear it.
Really? I
Really?
was wondering if you can hear it. I started it.
Mm-mm.
Don't go till you can hear it. I was trying to change my settings. I'm glad you told me that. I was wondering because ever since I put my microphone to the car, I just want to audio. Hmm. Oh, what about that?
Mm-mm. No.
No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nothing.
Hey, no. And I switched all the audio. Show advanced options, echo cancellation. Wow, that's crazy. But you didn't hear that?
Mm-mm.
But you heard that video when I shared it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing that. I'm playing that video, but it must do something different when I share it. I'm glad you told me that because ever since I took this microphone out and took it to the studio, it's been doing that. Thank you so much, Mr. Jefferson. We've been quiet all night. Oh, and then look, Miss Daniel said the same thing. No exit music. What is that? I had it too. That is so amazing. I'm so glad y'all appreciate my music. I love it too. Oh, it's crazy. It's on those days off. You can't hear anything.
Mm-mm.
And participant names automatically share screen, and it's showing the microphone bumping. Audio output, speaker and headphones. Oh, oh, that's it. What about that?
Mm-mm. No.
Oh, this one. It says speakers, more bodies. Mm. The live chat, real tech, speaker audio, microphone access on, on. I'm gonna have to turn it off. And I noticed that last week. I was jamming it, and y'all, I was like, they can't hear my music. Thank you so much for saying that. I bought a new printer system. The one at the office will work fine, but the one, the one at the house will not work. Technology.
Mr. Maurice says your mic is bugged. He says keep one for the road and one for the studio.
I know exactly. I shouldn't have done that. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. You know. I know. I ripped it right out. But I'm like, this camera for some reason, and the camera they have there, I don't know. It could be in my head, but I feel like the mic after using my phone that was speaker headphone real tech definition. Real tech high definition. Coming back to real tech high definition. That's what we're on. So and I even see it like going up.
Mm-hmm.
And then audio, real tech, you know. I'm gonna go. What about that?
Yep. That worked.
Stop. Stop.
Whatever button you turned on, that was it.
It was stereo audio input was turned off. Why would it be turned off?
I don't know, but at least you know that's what the problem was.
Thank you so much. You're the
Yeah.
best. Have a good night.
Simple fix.
Thank you so much. Y'all so good to me.
Just took a little patience. That's all.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Daniel. Y'all so sweet. Good night. Y'all the best. Good night. So, you the best.
Okay.
Y'all, look, you know I gotta play one. I gotta play one more song.
Go ahead.
I have to play the song I was playing the song I was playing. My song for tonight was you ain't never heard it before, but it was Froze. What's the song? Oh, Heart on Ice. Yeah. She's like, yeah. She's like, girl, I know it. Look, but he's on. I know. It's not a whole lot. Let me see if I can share it. Let's see. I wish I could share it.
Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's best I put my heart on nice, cause I can't breathe.
I bet he's from Atlanta.
I'm gonna put my heart on nice, getting the best of me. While in the cell with Lil Joaquin, after I slapped him, I had told him, don't know how you get down with them clowns, but I'm a soldier. No one could understand, I had way too much aggression that built over the years from my abandoned adolescence. See, I done been lied to, backstabbed, and heartbroken. I wanted to cry, but I was too afraid to open. Pray one day I'll find a peace of mind by the ocean. Spent all my time committing crimes to get closer. While at my nana house, I played the couch, staring at the ceiling, trying not to get in my feelings. Thinking of a way I can make these millions. Maybe that'll take this pain away and clear up all these rainy days. Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe.
Davis Mute.
Mama say it's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's best I put my heart on nice, cause I can't breathe. I'ma put my heart on nice, getting the best of me.
How me and him have so much in common, right? Look, me and the 18-year-old, we just right there.
I'm gonna put that on my playlist.
That's right. Heart on ice. That's right. We got all that in common. Yours is right. We're gonna put that heart on ice. Yeah. Come on. Go. You have a good night, sis.
Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe.
Be good.
Mama say it's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's best I put my heart on nice, cause I can't breathe. I'ma put my heart on nice, getting the best of me. While in the cell with Lil Joaquin, after I slapped him, I had told him, don't know how you get down with them clowns, but I'm a soldier. No one could understand, I had way too much aggression that built over the years from my abandoned adolescence. See, I done been lied to, backstabbed, and heartbroken. I wanted to cry, but I was too afraid to open. Praying one day I'll find a peace of mind by the ocean. Spent all my time committing crimes to get closer. While at my nana house, I play the couch, staring at the ceiling, trying not to get in my feelings. Thinking of a way I can make these millions. Maybe that'll take this pain away and clear up all these rainy days. Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's best I put